We'll start off, just introduce yourself and your role here and sort of the name of the restaurant and all.
Yeah, so I'm James Robertson and I work for Ardtara House and I'm the chef de partie and I'm head of cold starters and pastries here at Ardtara.
And how did your sort of interest in cooking and working in restaurants start, say when you were a teenager?
So yeah, my first job, I was very eager to work. I was out working at 13. My uncle owned a restaurant at the time. It was Art Beg Lodge out by Ballygolly, and I was just a kitchen porter at the time. Myself and my cousin, we worked there till the age of about 15, 16, sort of, you know, scrubbing dishes and chopping vegetables, all your basics and that sort of stuff. And like, just really loved the crack in the kitchen. It was good that way. But then with school and stuff, I just ended up following the academic route, just what teachers had told me at the time, go and do this, go do that, and I was happy enough to push that way. And yeah, so that's where the love of cooking originally was between just the crack in the kitchen of that first job and my grandmother, who was is a fantastic cook. Sorry, she's still with us. I have a great relationship with her, and she is a fantastic chef. She's a great cook.
So then how did you end up working sort of away from the kitchen and working in the bank, and why did you ultimately decide that you wanted to get back in?
Well, that was it. That was the academic route I was sort of hinted at there. I was pushed towards that just through school. I went to university and did a few courses, and I had multiple jobs for a long time there, and I enjoyed all of them. I've always enjoyed grafting and work and stuff like that, and I've always enjoyed a new challenge. I worked as an energy consultant for a time. I worked in the bank, like you were saying there. I was there for about 4.5, almost 5 years, and I worked as a classroom assistant there because I thought about doing teaching. And that was for the guts of a year as well, or just over a year. But I always at home would have been cooking away and doing this, and I always had this sort of idea in my head. I was like, I'd love to own my own place, my own restaurant. And when I was doing a lot of those jobs, I still had sort of a finger in the catering industry. Like I was working in a pizza place in Campsie for a lot of that time. Just again, the crack in the kitchen. It was great. It was something I just took on quite naturally. Although I must admit, it's a big jump between slinging pizzas and doing the pastries up here in Ardtara. But
so then tell us about how you sort of finally made the decision that you wanted to get back into cooking and the role that Southwest College played and getting back into that.
So yeah, I was in the bank there for, like I'd said, 4.5 to 5 years, and I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, and I worked with a fabulous team there. But the high street bank is very much a declining industry. Everything's going online. In fact, one of my main roles was getting people online. You're just constantly shooting yourself in the foot for promotion. Like the opportunities were no longer there. And just after so many years of being promised promotion and being passed up over and over and over again, because just the roles were being removed as opposed to being filled by somebody else in the industry, I just thought I've had enough here, and really made me think about what I actually want to do with my life. And like I said, I'd wanted to own my own place, and I thought about it. I was like, what am I actually doing to get towards that goal? And thankfully, Peter Watterson is actually a friend of my granny, the fantastic chef one. And she said, oh, I'm just the man you should speak to. And I went down to an open day in Southwest College for the full-time course and got chatting to Peter. And he was like, James, look, I know some people. There's a course, like a 1 day a week course, a fast track that I think you'd be perfect for. He says, I'd give you some information on it, and really it just went from there. He put me in contact with a chef here, James Devine, who I know has worked a bit with the Dungannon campus, and he took me under his wing up here for a few months, and I've just been here ever since. It's been great. It's all happened very fast, which is perfect for me because I feel like I'm making big leaps and bounds really quickly within the industry, but it's all been great.
And how important do you think the college was in terms of speeding up that process and getting you from wanting to get involved in the industry to?
They were fantastic. Like I said, it was Peter that first introduced me to James and got me that number, and it was James then that got me here. So without the college, I could be anywhere. I could be in some restaurant in Oma. Nothing against any restaurants in Oma. Like, they do a totally different service to what we do here. They cater for the masses, and therefore, you know, some corners need to be cut. You know, they're scooping ice creams out of tubs and stuff, whereas we make it from scratch. But then there is the difference of, we do 50 covers a night, they do 250. So that's where that comes from. But I just wanted to learn how to make things from scratch. I wanted all those skills, so this was the perfect place for me.
So tell us a bit more about the specific work you do here, and if you mentioned that you might go back to the college and maybe study at another level, what you would benefit?
Yeah, well, at the moment I've only got my level 2 MVQ, so that's just your basics. So that's learning all about your different cuts and how to trim things and make all your basics, really. And that's been great to give me like an all-round sense of the kitchen, because at the moment, with being a chef de partie of my own section, what I do here is really just pastries and cold starters. I don't really get to see a lot of the other cooking things. Like, I don't really work with meats that much, and I don't work with, lots of vegetables and, your soup bases and stuff. So the college has really helped fill in those gaps for me, so that I have a better all-round basis of knowledge. And level 3 would just be that step up. So that would allow me then probably to go on and look at like sous chef jobs and just really expand my knowledge and that sort of stuff. And then I'm hoping actually to go on and do my level 4 after that. And that's, I believe, more about like how to run the kitchen, how to be a head chef, do your orders, how to like own your own place, which is my ultimate goal eventually.
And when you think of doing all them things, what sort of place do you think the industry in Northern Ireland's in now in terms of people getting involved and being able to progress in it?
Northern Ireland industry for catering, it's an odd thing. We are crying out for chefs, anyone with any real good quality, and that's because the business is booming. It really is. The amount of tourists and stuff now coming to Northern Ireland, it's far better than we've ever really seen before. Especially with stuff like the Open and stuff that's up around this part of the country. We were flat out there for that week. Like, we were working really crazy hours, but that's because we can't get the chefs. If we had more manpower, it would really help. But the sky's the limit in this industry. When everyone is crying out for chefs, you can go anywhere, you can do anything as long as you put the effort in. If you really knuckle down and make a name for yourself, and you can make a name for yourself, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. You could be working a Michelin star plate. Like, Belfast now has 2 Michelin star restaurants, which is unbelievable. Ox and Dean's. I mean, if you can get a foot in there and learn from those boys, you can work anywhere. There's absolutely nothing you can't do.